poetry and also embracing fiction?
Yes. It was really hard. You know, I Googled him and the first thing I got was a picture of him in the George Washington wig. And I was like, okay, that's a start. And then I didn't really get much other information other than he was referred to as Black Mozart. And I was like, okay, well, let me go old school. And I remember being in college, we would, in order to research people, we would use JSTOR. So I went to JSTOR and I know, right? That's why college, go to school, kids. And I basically found these scholarly written papers and journals, and basically I read the papers to make sure they were good, and then I looked at the citations, and that's where I would find the research materials. And one of the books that a lot of people use was this book called The Virtuoso of Sword and Bow by Gabriel Bernat. And, oh hey Kelvin. Yeah, that's how I use that. It kind of chronicles all classical music of that period and a lot of the characters surrounding Joseph's life. And you learn about the economics of the time and how trade worked and what were the laws and what were the restrictions and who was Gosek and some of these composers of the time, and La Guimard and her backstory, Marie Josephine and her backstory, the mother, the father. And when there's very little information about Joseph specifically, you kind of have to just insert him into how people responded to his behavior or how people what they said about him, and take those little tidbits and then apply the restrictions and see, well, how would one react to that scenario? And that was the basis of it. I listened to a lot of the compositions, and you listen to the music, and I felt like it was a little bit of a Joseph's diary. And so that would give me a lot of insight into him. And then Prince. I used a lot of Prince. I was like, you know, Joseph and Stephen and I, Jesus. Stephen and I discussed, and we were like, well, who is the contemporary comp for Joseph? And Prince, the way we view Prince right now is the way they viewed Joseph at the time. So I was like, well, in order for audiences to really feel the energy of what a rock star violinist, a virtuoso, felt like, I just looked up a lot of YouTube videos of Prince talking.